More than a week away from your season opener. What do you like about this team with where it stands right now, and are there any things that you're focusing on that you want to get better?
I'll try to get all those. I really like this football team. I like its maturity. I like the way they've gone about camp. As I've stated before, just all the things we've kind of put them through the project and those things, they've handled that extremely well. They understand. I guess, they develop a workman's-like attitude towards this and to kind of a professional way of approaching things in a day-to-day manner right now. And I think, it's a credit to the seniors. And I really like the way our younger players have developed, the way the newcomers, our mid-year additions have all taken big steps and, through the summer and physical development, understanding what we're doing. So we're getting close to being tested. Did I miss one there, Jordan? Or was there?
Are there any areas of focusing on improvement?
Well, yeah, everything. We're continually working on situational football and things like that. There's still good battles and rotations and depth right now but I like the way it's starting to come together, and we're fairly healthy. Just got to get a few more guys. If we can get a few more days here and then kind of get into full game prep, some of the reps cut down a little bit, I think we'll be healthier as we go.
You talked about all the arrangements you had before the construction. Just over the last 3 weeks, what's it been like having the guys have full access to a lot of the new stuff going on in this facility?
Oh, I think it's been awesome. I think our guys really enjoyed and appreciate it. As we've stated before, we've practiced on grass a lot more than we have, and so that commute still kind of makes the day a little different than normal. But I think they're feeling better from being on grass on every day as much as we can. So hopefully we come out of camp as fresh as we've ever been. I think weather's cooperated here of late, but I think what they see in this time without school starting, this opportunity that they go through during our afternoons, as far as taking care of their bodies and the things that have been put to there, the extra fueling stations and availability, the meeting rooms are a lot more comfortable. All those things really help the student athlete's day, and we continue to work on that to make their day through a long season as convenient and fluid as possible for them to maximize that time.
We talked to Coach Gildersleeve last week about Caleb Taylor's process in the program. How much do you feel like he embodies what you want players to be in the program?
Yeah, he's one of those. I think Caleb's a good one. I think Tywan Berryhill's kind of been that at times for us. There's those, and as a head coach, it reminds me that I've got to sometimes take a step back and understand that everyone's going to progress slightly differently. And I think Caleb would tell you some of the same things that, I don't know, maybe if he was fully bought in right away to the way and how I was doing. Obviously there's different people telling you stuff, and there was a guy a few years ago, and some of it, of course, is development as well. But I think our first year, he might have started this season close to 280, maybe. Probably was playing, 2/3 through the year at under 260, and then for him it was tough to keep him on the field, and people are wondering why we're not stopping the run. So it kind of goes together. Now he's over 300 pounds consistently, and he's keeping it on, and he's playing better, and he's confident. But the thing about a guy like him, he's worked through all that. He's seen, I think, consistency from the staff and approach and what we expect, but also that we do care and we want what's best for him and his football team and program. And I think that has helped bridge that gap. And it's because he's such a good young man, and that it's really fulfilling to see, and I'm glad it's worked out. And he's been slowed a little bit this last week or so, about a week, and he's just getting back out there. But he's one of those guys that I think this time around, I'm really hoping he has the season he deserves.
We've seen clips of Jalen throwing in practice. We've been at practice and seen him there. Just what have you seen from him over the course of camp?
Yeah. Well, since you brought Jalen up, I'll make sure. I think it's this time of year. I'll announce him as our starting quarterback. Okay, he will start the opener. I've seen a lot of good things from Jalen Daniels in the last 10 days, and he hasn't missed anything. He's played well, and he's confident. He's excited. His enthusiasm is contagious, and we all know that it's important for him to stay healthy. But it's good to see.
Lance over here. The supporting cast around him, how much has they've supported Jalen along the way? Guys that are, Devin, Daniel Highshaws of the world that have just been around him. How have they seen him just be excited to be, back in the fold?
Yeah, they're excited. I mean, Quentin Skinner's his roommate, and you see that him and Cornell live with Jalen, and they've been great support for him all the way. Daniel, 2 years ago battled his injury. Devin and Jalen have, are very close as well. So to see that kind of not just talented guys, but they're good friends too, and great teammates to one another and supporting. And so it's been great to see. And part of the thing is I'm talking about where he's going. I think I'd have to ask some of these other guys, but I think it was like 4 days ago maybe was the first time Jalen, Lawrence Arnold, Luke Grimm, and Quentin Skinner were on the field practicing together fully, probably since last season. Lawrence got hurt in the first spring practice. I don't think Jalen went through or wasn't going through team reps the first day. So to have those guys back on the field with Devin and Daniel, it's kind of a nice little glimpse about how explosive this group can be.
Defensively, I know the defensive line had been one that you tried to work on some depth. Just how have you seen that unit develop throughout the course of this preseason?
Well, you never know till you fully get into it because there's limited live tackle. I mean, we've scrimmaged and stuff, but I've tried to keep it in perspective of where we were a year ago. We talk about the loss of Austin Booker, but I don't remember talking a ton about Book last year at this and what a great player he was going to be, and he was going to be first team all conference and a draft pick. So, I watched Dean Miller have a really good camp. He plays hard. He's done the things we've asked him to do. Another player, kind of like Caleb, it's taken a little bit to fully maybe grasp it or buy it all in, but he's done it. And it's really exciting to see. Jeremy Robinson's extremely steady and a good football player. He missed spring with a labrum. But Tommy Dunn and DJ Withers is now, they're juniors and they've played a fair amount of football. I like the rotation that we're going to have there with on the inside. Dylan Woodkey is a transfer defensive end who's one of those transfers that have really taken a nice step in things here. Ron McGee's healthy. I'm excited to see DJ Warner on the field and watch him. And it'll be a growing process for a young player early, but I'm excited to see how he'll help this team also in passing situations. By Job's a guy that's been playing with a cast on. Hopefully he's getting closer to having that removed. Very talented guy as well that plays with a good motor. So I think, by the time, especially when the conference season rolls around, we should have a good idea where that group's going to be. And like I said before, I go back 2 years ago. Lonnie Phelps was a player that we thought could help this football team and played hard, but was an unknown commodity. And unfortunately, we're kind of there again. But I do think I feel better about the pieces and the guys that'll rotate because those are rotational positions for us anyway. And they're not going to be ones that we expect guys to play 75 snaps or more.
Lance, what have you seen from the linebacker group, and what's the competition look like there?
Again, I think I've said this multiple times. I think this group plays downhill a little bit more than some of the guys we had last year. We had a lot of experience, of course, with Rich Millard that made a lot of things right for us, alignment-wise. But another player that's taken what you'd want to be the progressive strides in the program through time, and that's Cornell Wheeler. And he's grown, he's more confident, he's understanding. I've never heard Coach Simpson talk about a worry about, calls and getting things done and getting things right. We've talked about J.B. Brown in here, those of you that come on a regular basis. He's playing fast and he's a physical guy. You can see that he's more comfortable year 2 in our program. I'm excited to see him play. Taiwan Berryhill's a guy who also runs well, physical player. Jason Gilliam probably is the healthiest he's been in 2.5 years. Logan Brantley's a young player who will play a lot on special teams. Again, gives us an outside linebacker with physicality and speed as we continue to try to continue to recruit those type of guys. Probably forgetting somebody in that group, but those are guys that I feel will give us the right depth and contribute a lot on special teams.
And as you wrap up fall camp, what's your thoughts on special teams? What have you seen from them?
Well, again, I think our return game returns a lot of the same guys, and Trevor Wilson, Luke Grimm, O.J. Burrows, Savion Morrison. Savion will be in the kick return game with Trevor. I've mentioned the punt returners. Damon Graves again. How old's Damon? 25 or something. Sophomore again from Australia. He's made himself a very good holder in the last 6 months or so. But again, he continues to do well, and I really like the way the kicking battle is kind of continued to progress. Got 3 guys going for it, but Tabor Allen's a guy that quietly continues to be more consistent. And he and Charlie Weinrich are probably right now fighting for the kickoff or for the field goal job. Tabor will handle the kickoffs. Owen Peepergerdes is a guy that with a very strong leg and has some game experience as well, is still in the mix. So feel good about that. You're always worried about special teams early because it's hard to simulate a lot of those live and doing those things early in the season. So you gotta get the game sometimes to really see where you are in those positions.
Lance, over to your left here. You mentioned Booker and Lonnie, and I'm not talking necessarily about that position, but somebody on this team that might fall in that same category who next year at this time you're talking about. We didn't say a whole lot about him at this time last year, but boy, he had a monster year for us. Could you identify someone that
I think I did. I think I did. I think Dean Miller's kind of on that path if he continues to do things. I'm not going to put him as my biggest thing is that a guy returns for his last year of eligibility at that position would be really nice for the Jayhawks. So, he's, we've a guy that we've always felt had a ton of ability, needed to grow in a lot of ways physically, mature some other ways of understanding what it was really going to take. And sometimes guys just want to play on, where they're at the moment and it's hard at 206 pounds to get past guys that are 320 and physically hold up all the time. And now Dean's consistently in the 230s, and he's played with a really good motor again. And so I'm excited about that. Again, Jeremy's been there as well. I'm not going to put pressure on those 2 freshmen right now. But I also think, like I said earlier, I think Joe is a guy that's going to help us in that area too.
So I was talking actually about beyond that position.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I didn't want you to think I wasn't listening.
Just another guy. I've been asked that for some reason. I think that seems to be the new question. Like, who's going to be the surprise player? Who's the guy that? It depends which day of the week I answer it. Some of the players, I guess. I was saying like a Marvin Grant or J.B. Brown. Seen others say OJ, and OJ had like 2 interceptions today. One was a pick 6. I kind of I don't want to say I take him for granted because OJ's been so steady in his career, great ball skills. He's always has understood what to do. I think DK McDonald's done a great job with him on smaller details challenging him in other ways to be a better player, to be more outspoken than OJ's maybe been comfortable. And I see all those things kind of seeing him. And, you know, Coach Gildersleeve does a end of the summer workout, and you know, they have a fun day, but they also do let the seniors have a talk on that day. And you know, we're not around at that time, and it's kind of neat because they probably get to say things that in a lot of different ways. But he told me OJ's was one of the best because it was really heartfelt, and he really knew that, you know, barring something weird happening, that it was you know, it's his last go around. And it's important to him, and he wants to make the most of it. And I really think OJ has taken this fall camp with that type of mindset, and I'm really excited to see him carry that out.
Coach, would you offer your thoughts on Devin's place in the rebuild that's happened here in the last few years?
Boy, I don't know if I could ever, you know, hit on all the great things that it's done. From the day he committed to this program prior to our arrival, said a lot for this program, a lot for this university, really. When you see what's really changed in college athletics, and you know, that's not the football coach talking. That's me repeating stuff that the chancellor talks about what a college game day appearance in Lawrence, Kansas does. And it's because of guys of the play of a Devin Neal and Jalen Daniels and many others, and what that's helped do for this community, for our campus, for enrollment, for, you know, and really morale from where this thing was at. So, and the coolest thing about it for a guy like Devin, he's one of the best guys you'll be around. And all the success and all the things that could really get to a guy and can change a guy or make him feel entitled or do all the things else that's changed in college athletics, he's pretty much the same dude he was when he walked in, just more mature as he goes through, but he's just humble and appreciative and giving and all of that. So, you know, and we have others. This is a really good group, and, you know, we're going to miss them a year from now or whatever, but I'm sure hoping it's the fastest, slowest, most productive season we can ever have.
I know you guys did some rotating at guard on the offensive line last year. Did you like that? Do you think you'll do something similar this year?
If they're ready. One thing I like about our line, I said this last night at an event, that I think, you know, I don't know if there's a Pooney in there, but you know, I like where we're going to be in the offensive line 6 through 10 by the end of September. And Calvin gets healthier. We talked about Nolan Gorsica. I think Logan Brown's played, you know, has played his most solid football here. Daryl Simmons and Shane Baumgartner are both a lot more comfortable and in better and look better physically and are moving better than they did when in the spring. So, you know, they're going to deserve to play too. And you know, Shane and Bryce are fighting it out, and Bryce just got here, and Bryce can play guard as well. And if we can keep guys, if there's not a big drop off, if there's not we don't lose anything in communication that affects you know, the effectiveness of and the production of the offense, why wouldn't we want to play a few more guys there and be a little bit more fresh than maybe we were a year ago in the fourth quarter? And, you know, Kobe Baines is an extremely physical guard, but I think, you know, rotating maybe him and Daryl some it's going to make him better in the fourth quarter. And, you know, Bryce Cable is going to be very steady. Michael Ford, those guys are used to playing the whole game. Maybe there's a time to give them a breather in there. And I think Kelvin coming off injury, you know, like I said, he's just getting going. He gets better every day and starts showing what he was about last year when he started the bowl game. I hope by the time we play UNLV again, he's right back to where he was.
You mentioned Jalen's going to start, and I think it was last week. You said you're maybe a week away from finding out the starting offensive line. How close are you to figuring out that kind of first
really
five?
Close, really close.
Starters?
No, I don't want to know say starters yet. What will we do at next week's press conference?
Lance, I think, after the UNLV game, you talked about the Big 12 championship and how that's a goal, and you guys have had a lot of continuity and the maturity of this group. How much easier is that with the group that's coming back?
Championship, my goal still is that we're better today than we were yesterday, okay? And then the wins and the other things will start taking care of themselves, because you start talking about, to win a Big 12 championship, that's really a game that's not even on the schedule yet, that you haven't earned it. So that's hard for me. I've always tried to stay away from that. I just want to be better. Do we have the ability now that we've shown we can line up and do those things? Yes. And that's been the challenge but again, through camp, I think our guys, they still go out and play, and that's what we want to do. All these other things that can happen sometimes, I want to stay away from, no offense to everything you're covering and writing and tweeting and whatever else, but we got to go back and play and prove it, because if not, then we'll be disappointed. And that's a nice thing about having this many seniors, because I do think they understand it, and they do understand that the things that we talked about when we were a 2-10 football team are still the same things we talk about now with the type of team and maybe expectations that could be available if we do what we're supposed to.
Coach, I was just wondering if you had any time to have seen the success of the Jayhawks in the preseason this year with being in Fairchild?
Honestly, I haven't. In fact, I think it was Andy that told me that Mason had 3 catches in that, but I did send a clip to him, and I told him congratulations, and I was proud of him, and just had a short text conversation with him. Same with Jason. A little bit with Dominic, probably more the first week, not the one with Mason, but when he played against the Titans, and he and Scott Fuchs were together, because Scott sent me the picture of those 2 guys, which is cool. Proud of those guys. It's tough when we're in the middle of it, and these, I'm not even sure when the games are all on, but but awful proud of them. So.
What's been your impression of Jeff Grimes so far, and how the offense has been going?
Again, probably feels good about Jeff as the day I hired him. I feel, Jeff's been a part of different programs and some of the things, and it's good. I know Jeff went through some adjustments here. It's like, I think I've said before, like learning a foreign language, because he learned all new terminology, things like that. But Jeff, he didn't share it to me right away, but our practice style format is something he'd never really been through before, so it was an adjustment. And now that he's in the groove of it, he really likes it, and I said good, because I'm not changing it. And I really like, but I like, because I think he is starting to see, like I said, with the pieces that of the puzzle, so to speak, that he gets to work with. I think he's feeling a lot more comfortable about the abilities of these guys on a day in and day out basis. Like I said, when Jalen's been out there every day to see what he can do, and really the abilities that he has with those experienced receivers. We're seeing a lot more balls thrown before guys are breaking on cuts or turning around. Some better back shoulder throws, things like that are exciting to see. So I think he sees it. I think again, I'm excited for us to kind of get this thing going, so we can get that first game and all the other things that we get to do now with coach-player communication, the tablets and all that we're going to continually kind of work through and even be better.
You guys have had such tremendous staff continuity, not just here, but from previous stops. Mm-hmm. I guess, what's the impact of bringing in people who maybe think a different way and have been at different places?
It's good. It's extremely, we, especially in the analyst area, we change over, and I expressed this to them. I said, I want your ideas. I want your, hey, have you ever thought of this, or we did it this way, and some other things. And we do get that. But I also want to make sure that we stay true to the things that we felt have gotten us to this point. So it's a good mix, and I think even through some of those hiring practices, I think we found, philosophy, cultural fits as well right now, and it seems to be, I've been very pleased with this part of camp so far because, staffs continue to get larger, and that staff continuity needs to stay in check because it's hard. It's, these programs keep getting bigger, and you've got to make sure that you stay aligned.
And then just real quick, you guys hired Leon Douglas, high school relations, really well-known coach throughout Kansas City. I guess what sort of impact do you think that he can help you guys with in recruiting in that area? And
yeah, I think Leon would be a great addition. Leon expressed his desires to be part of our staff last spring, and through some things he had to work through. But Leon came to a lot of spring practices, sat in a lot of meetings. I told him I'd do everything I could and to try to that we could find a way in the right role, and a meaningful one, to have someone with his experience in the Kansas City area. But it was funny, but even as it started to come about, you start getting text messages when rumors started and all that, but everyone talks about what a great human being he is, and he is, and he's going to add to us in the recruiting, not just locally. I think he'll help us in all ways. When I had a chance the first year, when I met him, and he had an administrative job too at North Kansas City, and to watch him, not on the field, but as a school administrator professional, I was impressed. And I'm looking forward to him to help in a lot of different ways in our player development area, our high school relations, and of course, since everybody can have impact in some way on, whether it be he sits in yet during this time of year in a lot of meetings, and again, he'll be a fine addition as well.
We have time for one more. Go ahead, Harold.
Got to end it on the old KCK question when you guys are getting started to play out there. I know you practiced there once, but what did you learn from there in just getting surroundings set with the home game that obviously will have about half the attendance that Booth would normally have? And then do you have any plans on going back there for a walkthrough or anything before the first game?
We don't have any plans. They're just available dates that they gave us. That was the only one, which we understand. What do you think? I think though he's half as many. I just think in the setup of the stadium and the way it is acoustically, I think it'll have the feel that there'll be twice as many that are actually there just by the way it's set up. I'm excited about it. I do think in a roundabout way that our bowl game in a baseball stadium in locker room size, and maybe walk from where we were to where you get out on all those things, I think will help us adjust to this quicker than maybe we would have before if we didn't play in Phoenix last year. I'm excited about it for a lot of different reasons. We can't change what's going on here because it's in motion and it's exciting, but I do hope it makes it more convenient for more people to come out and check us out. Maybe we gain some new fans, or ones that have just watched maybe on TV or listen to the radio. But I think it's a great opportunity. I think logistically from our home hotel, we're closer. So the bus rides even cut down a little bit. So all those things are great. And, Colin Sexton, we had a lot of discussions about what our options were. And I think we came up with a really good plan for non-conference and conference, and excited to be at both spots.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank